It's an Apex card again. Yeah, another
It
Apex.
is.
Yo, man, we gotta burn down that Apex. It's bad news. All right. How many fights on this card are you actually interested in watching?
All right. Welcome to another episode of Two Fight Fans, where we talk about all things in combat sports. I'm one fight fan, Colin.
I'm the other Stuart.
All right. It's been a hot minute. Lots happened
Hot
since we
minute.
last talked. Yeah.
Yeah, so much and yet so little.
That's the world of MMA, isn't it?
I mean, it's the world of combat sports. Sports, maybe in general? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at least
That's
combat
fair.
sports. Yeah. Where do you want to start, Colin? What do you want to talk
Well,
about?
why don't we do a little quick recap of like what we missed, what happened? Because I did not see some of the stuff that's happened, but I'd like to get your thoughts on some of them. So,
Molly.
yeah. Why don't we start with uh your boy Bobby Knuckles? What fucking happened, man?
I mean, it was. I alluded to it. We didn't get to make picks for that fight, but I alluded to it, right? Like, Rainier de Ritter is the less athletic version of Dricus Duplessis, and it
Yeah,
just turns out that that's a bad stylistic matchup for Bobby Knuckles.
apparently it's a bad matchup for a lot of people then. Like,
Yeah. It turns out being a big, goofy hoss, that's kind of the cheat code at middleweight.
yeah.
But no, kind of the same classic thing. Robert Whitaker is really bad against a southpaw jab. The southpaw jab being the thing that Dricus Duplessis dropped him with. Rita Ritter is a southpaw, was able to land his jab kind of at will. Robert Whitaker is clearly a headhunter, although he used to have a kicking game and used to like kick the legs and like has really, I think, as he's gotten older, we've kind of talked about this of like fighters like Izzy, like Robert, paring back the things that made them dynamic and great. There's this sort of like removal of offense from fighters as they get older. And Rob really has that. So he's basically just a headhunter now. And since Rainier de Ritter happens to be 7'4", it's really hard to hit him in the head. And so it just was Robert Whitaker kind of failing to get to the head. And when he did classic Robert Whitaker stuff, wicked awesome jab, like a pretty decent hook, and like dropped Rainier de Ritter with a really hard overhand. But like, failing to go to the body, failing to go to the leg, really struggling with a tall southpaw opponent, really struggling in the clinch, getting chewed to pieces by bodywork himself and then tiring out. And when you have that blitzing style like Rob Whitaker, when you're eating 900 knees to the solar plexus, you get sleepy real fast. So yeah. Which sets up Rainier de Ritter versus the winner of Hamzat Chimaev and Dricus Duplessis, which means, Colin, if Dricus beats Hamzat, we might have Rainier de Ritter versus Dricus Duplessis. Possibly the goofiest fight that's ever occurred.
Yeah. That just sounds so ridiculous to me.
It's a real Donald Duck versus Goofy fight, Like, it's a real cartoon-ass middleweight fight, which I guess it's kind of like the Trump presidency. You look at, like, American history and you're like, I guess it was always leading to this. I guess this is always the way it was going to end. And when you know that, you go, well, I'm kind of disappointed that that's how it went. But all you can do is just kind of, I don't know, lay back and take it or accept it for what it is.
Jesus.
So we're probably going to have Rainier de Ritter, RDR versus DDP. And boy, howdy.
Yeah.
That's going to be the silliest fight ever.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
A
That's
lot
what
of these fights have happened in the last couple weeks. So like RDR beating Whitaker, and just in general, it just seems to be like, okay, we are seeing the turnover of our favorite fighters, and now this new crop actually coming up, and maybe they're not as explosively skillful as we'd like or as we think, but it's just like
explosively skillful.
But I mean,
that sounds like you're like trying to go for like a LinkedIn influencer phrase.
Okay, well,
Here's
think
what I
about
learned
this.
about B2B marketing and how to be explosively skillful. Sorry, keep
Well,
going.
but okay, think about it. Who do we have right now ruling the middleweight division? It's like you said, it's fucking DDP and RDR, but we did
Yeah.
have Izzy and fucking Robert. Like compare their skill sets right there. And it's only
Yeah.
been 5 years, So,
Mhm. It is yeah, I mean, we have Hamzat in there. And if you
okay,
wanna talk about explosiveness, but I mean, Sean Strickland's before there was a DDP, there was a Sean Strickland,
sure.
you know? Um, yeah, it's a weird it's it's
I
bad.
guess for
I'll say it.
me,
It's
like,
bad. It's bad.
yeah, I feel like in general we've seen, the skill ceiling continue to grow and develop, as the fighters retire or get beaten or age out. But this is the one where I'm starting to see like across the board, like the general consensus. You do have blips here and there of like really skilled fighters coming up, but
Mhm.
across the board, most of the top level are losing because they're older, not because inherently because they're older, like other people are better than them now, but it's not like
Mhm.
the skill level has raised up each time,
Yeah, besides Ilya Topuria, there hasn't really been like a
Right.
real mantle passing? Passing of the guard? Football pass? I don't know. Whatever metaphor I'm trying to get I'm get going for here. Um, yeah, no, you're right. Like it is definitely something where we're not seeing that turnover that you would hope to. But that's kind of MMA right now. It's turning into we've said it 10,000 times. It's turning into slop, which leads us to the Apex card that happened this past weekend. Colin, did you watch these fights?
I watched most of them, yes.
Oh, most of them.
Yeah, I put it on, like, starting at around, like, 3 PM, just had it on in the background, and I was like, "Alright, well, we'll see what's
Holy
going on here." Yeah.
shit. Well, tell me then, do you, like apparently a lot of the internet, think that Tatsuro Taira really showed that he's leveled up since his last fight, or is this just more regular ass Tatsuro Taira?
He didn't show me anything new.
Yeah.
It was just like that's something I wanted to talk about is, like, this originally, the original matchup with, him and who was it
Albazi.
now? Yeah, yeah, that would've been great. That
Mhm.
would've been a real good test for him, but now,
Yeah.
like, since Amir Albazi didn't get cleared, and he's now had a late time replacement with Park Hyun Sung, like, great, I guess, but it was kind of he needed to Tatsuro Taira needed to get a finish, and if he anything less than that, it would've been like, wow, his stock really dropped then, you know?
Yeah, it
That's what
kind
I
of
feel
begs
like.
yeah, it, like, begs the question, like, should should this fight have even happened?
I mean, probably not, but at the same time, you needed a fight, you needed something to happen that weekend, and
Yeah,
Tatsuro
but
Taira was under
did
contract and coming out from Japan, so
did we? Like, we could have just waited a week or 2 and put him against Steve Ursay, because um, was it Amir no, Sung Yun Park was supposed to fight Steve Ursay, and then now Alex Perez is stepping in for Steve Ursay, or for Sung Yun Park, and so it's like, you could have just waited, like, 2 weeks and then let Tatsuro Taira fight Steve Ursay,
Mhm.
and then it's an Apex card, so who the fuck cares? Just make the Mateusz Raumbeszki and, who did he fight? The fucking slobber knocker fight, the co-main event.
Oh,
Like, that
Chris
could have been a
Duncan?
fu yeah, that could have been 5 rounds. Like, just do that. That's the most Apex fucking thing you could have done, right? We didn't need to have Tatsuro Taira. He gets a win under his belt, but it doesn't, like, move him in any direction, right? So,
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
why do it?
Yeah, that's a good point, unless, like, Tatsuro Taira really wanted to fight right then and there, and his contract had something with it, I don't know, like, I don't know the finances or mechanics behind that, so
Seems it just feels like the UFC is just so plug and play. They're
yeah,
just like, "Well, just get somebody else in." It's like, you're allowed to, like if you have a good fight or you can get a better replacement, you can wait 2 weeks for that fight or 3 weeks or 4.
yeah,
You
sure,
don't need to keep one part of the fight and then just plug in somebody who's, like, hopelessly overmatched.
right.
Yeah. What other fights did you watch on this card? Or do you have
Uh,
anything else you want to say about Tatsuro Taira?
no, I mean, it's just like, okay, where does he go from here now? Because he's definitely not ready to fight for the championship. So, like, are you just
Yeah.
going to kill one of your prospects? Who else are you going to feed him now, you know?
He probably should fight Amir Albazi.
Yeah.
Like,
But, like,
just
why?
rebook that shit.
Like, what? Was it ever released why Amir Balzi, like, didn't get cleared to
No.
fight?
Now, he's had a bunch of health issues. I'd assume it's a health issue.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I think it was that vague, undisclosed
Yeah.
reasons. So it could have been because he'd had neck surgery to fuse discs in his neck, and then it was
Oh,
discovered had like
right.
a heart issue. So then he had to
Yeesh.
like have part of his like heart cauterized or some shit.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
like who knows, right? Like, but whatever. There's other flyweights that Tatsuro Taira could fight. Tim Elliott, I know, is fighting Kaya Sakura soon. Like, pull Tim
Yeah.
Elliott, have him fight Tatsuro Taira.
Hmm.
Like, make
Yeah.
Kaya Sakura fight Steve Erceg. Make Kaya Sakura fight Sungyeon Park. Like, these are all fine fights. But yeah, the UFC being so plug and play, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. Other highlights? Neil Magny getting a finish. Like, come on. Like,
yeah,
yeah. Like, it wasn't like I wasn't super impressed with, but it's just like, hey, that's something that doesn't happen. Like,
yeah. Neil Magny, he. How much longer do you think this guy's gonna be fighting for?
I'm afraid it's gonna be like a Clay Guida type thing where he'll just keep fighting.
Mm, mhm,
Because he'll
mhm.
string enough to be like not relevant, but he'll have like the occasional win here and there. He'll go like win loss win loss win win loss loss win loss loss win. Like it's just gonna go like that back and forth where he's not actually gonna move up in the rankings.
Yeah,
He'll be gatekeeper. That's what he'll be.
like, I mean, I thought we sent him to the glue factory pretty good in his last two fights, and he
Yeah, he
just
got knocked out twice, right?
yeah, Carlos Prates and Michael Morales, two people that we nominated for glue or will nominate for Glue Factory Employee of the Year award. But like, dude, this old warhorse keeps coming back, and
Yeah.
I really feel it's we're getting to the point where it's like, how many times do we have to teach you this, old man? I feel like we just got to do. Well, he's already fought Shavkat, I think. Maybe Ian Gary again, because he really hated that Ian Gary fight. Like, maybe Ian Gary will finally get a finish. Yeah. Neil
Yeah.
Magny won. Sure. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
What about
I
Rina Nakamura?
He actually looked pretty good.
Yeah, I liked him. I
Yeah.
liked it. I also
And I
loved his post-fight fucking interview or at the post-fight conference. He's a fucking degenerate. I love him.
what
Did
did he
you see
say?
that? He's like,
Uh-uh.
"Oh, so, you won pretty quickly. What are you gonna do with, your winnings and you're in Vegas?" And he just goes, gamble. I want
Nice.
to gamble in Vegas." And he's like, "Oh, what do you like to play?" Very simple game, like roulette,
Nice.
blackjack." It was like, "You are one of us. You're a man of the people here."
Nice. Well, and Vegas needs it, man, because I don't know if you've seen their tourism numbers, but they're
Oh, yeah,
they're down
they
like 20%.
struggle busting.
Yeah. They're hurting, man. But we're all hurting out here. That's why yeah.
Yeah.
Um yeah. Those are the fights that we missed, didn't talk about. That's all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
Not great, but it
not great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
There's a fight this
oh, go ahead.
well, there's a
Oh,
fight this weekend.
we're moving to the present. So that was the past.
That was
All
the
done with the
pass.
past. The
Yes,
present. There are fights this weekend.
there are.
Uh
Yes.
are they worth talking about?
I mean,
Are they, it's an Apex card again. Yeah, another
it
Apex.
is.
Yo, man, we gotta burn down that Apex. It's bad news. All right. How many fights on this card are you actually interested in watching? Holy
uh,
shit.
Steve Erceg.
Yeah.
I like Steve Erceg. I want to support him. And I like Andre Fili. I like him. I'll watch
You
him.
like watching Andre Fili, yeah?
That's pretty much it. Like,
Fluffy Hernandez is good. I like Fluffy Hernandez.
okay,
So,
sure,
we got like
sure.
3-ish, but none of them are like must see.
No,
But okay, at least 3 fights.
again, you can
Yeah.
have it on in the background and not really care.
Yeah. Goddamn, dude. Middleweight. Roman Dolidze, Fluffy Hernandez. Holy shit.
Yeah,
We've
man.
just been talking about this. What's amazing is we've got the weekend following this an amazing middleweight fight. But
Yeah.
then I just think of the prospect of Renier de Ritter, Dricus du Plessis, or Fluffy Hernandez, Renier de Ritter. Yo,
RDR versus DDP is actually kind of funny now. Like, I kind of want to see that.
I mean, it would be the goofiest fucking, like, it would be.
Yeah,
You want to
exactly.
talk about the dumbest fight ever for, well, besides maybe like Tim Sylvia versus Jeff Monson for the heavyweight title, like the dumbest fight for a UFC title ever. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah. Steve Rusick, Alex Perez, Andre Fili, Christian Rodriguez, Anthony Hernandez, Roman Dolidze. It's at a UFC Apex. The UFC does not give a shit. They're not trying at all. This is overflow. We've talked about it 10,000 times. Like, I don't even know what to say. It's just, yeah, that's it, man. That's it.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah.
Also, weirdly, Edson Barboza has fallen to the early prelims.
Well, because he is old as hell, right?
Is he? How old is he?
I
Yeah,
think
he's 39. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's old. Not for the earth, but for, fighting.
But for MMA, yeah, he old.
Yeah, he's
at lightweight too, man.
Yeah. Is he fighting at lightweight again, or is he down at featherweight? Because he's been
No,
fighting at featherweight most of the time.
That's true. But no, this is at lightweight.
Oh, he's moving back up. Ooh, that's when you know shit's getting bad. Shit's getting dire when you're moving back up. That's yikes. You don't want to do that. Don't do that. Well, let's talk about, since we've talked about the present, let's talk about the future. Let's go way far in the future.
Way far.
Yeah, let's go to UFC 321.
Oh, okay.
Talking October 25th. There's been some fights that were announced for October 25th. We've got the undisputed now heavyweight champion of the world, Tom Aspinall, make his first undisputed title defense. So I would argue his second title defense?
Title defense, yes. Title defense, yes.
Yeah, against Cyril Gane. Colin,
Yep, we called it.
How excited are you for Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane?
Like the actual fight, whatever. I'm just happy that we're moving forward and we're solidifying Tom Aspinall as the undisputed champion.
All right.
Period. That's it. Like I want clean. Ever since we started this, I'm all about order. I want the clean, defined set right now. Canonical order.
Yep. Clean. Laser hair removal, waxed, completely smooth. Easiest, yeah. Yeah, this fight is kind of numbers. Who cares? Right? Like, I mean, it's the best fight, I guess. Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. What if Cyril Gane beats Tom Aspinall?
Oh, God. It would... I mean, like, good for Cyril Gane, but it'll just be like... We'll never hear the end of it from John Jones.
Yeah. And it would be... What a nightmare, man. What a nightmare.
Yeah.
There is a co-main event on this card, and that is another heavyweight fight, Alexander Volkov versus Jailton Almeida.
Yep.
How do you feel about that fight?
Dude, you got the shortest heavyweight versus like one of the tallest, lankiest ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll root for my boy, Jailton Almeida, like you said. I know, the cheater, like you said.
The cheater. Yeah, I mean, he is cheating. It is a bit bullshit.
Yeah, you said
not a great.
How dare he at heavyweight train anything that's not striking?
yeah, that's true. Earlier in October, we have UFC 320, and we have 3 fights on this card. Headlined by Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira in a rematch.
Yep.
Colin, do you give Alex Pereira a better chance in this fight than in their previous meeting, or do you give Magomed Ankalaev a better chance?
Here's the thing. I still cannot trust Ankalaev to not do donkey brain things. He has shown me once that he can stick to a game plan. Okay, sure. And he had the better of that. I do think Alex Pereira will be a little. He has something to prove on this one. He's got a chip on his shoulder for this, but again, it's like you said before, like his kryptonite kind of is facing southpaws.
Yeah.
Like he just really for all of his like experience and accolades, like he does struggle with southpaws, and it's not like Ankalaev is this great, phenomenal striker at and the southpaw. He's just like
Mhm.
average. So like, I don't know. I was kind of baffled by that. So I'm rooting for Alex Pereira. I'm a big Alex Pereira fanboy. So
Yeah. Do you give him a better chance than the last time?
yes, I think he will do
Okay.
better. I think he will do
Okay.
better because I don't think Uncle Live will change much, and I don't
Mhm.
have faith in him to like, I'm gonna do some grappling now. Like I
Yeah.
think he's proven that he wants to like try to show that he could beat Alex Pereira in the striking game again.
Now, if Alex Pereira loses this fight, do you think he retires?
Yeah, I could see that.
And then
You
who are
know,
you gonna root for, Colin?
at light heavyweight, shit, fuck, I don't know.
What you
Who else
think?
is he?
In the sport in general.
Oh,
I
in
guess
sport in
Joshua
general.
Van.
Yeah,
Boy of the pod, Josh Van.
yeah. Cleo Roundtree, second boy of the pod.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Which we'll get to that right now. Let's
Oh
skip over to
yeah,
co-main. Let's get there. Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Roundtree
oh
Jr.
yeah. That's gonna be a great fight too. I'm
Who's
very
gonna get
excited for
more
that.
hurt in this fight, Colin?
Uh, hmm. I don't know. They're
Yeah,
both
right?
so tough and they're both so violent. Like
Well, and
Yuri is just violent because he can take a lot of punishment if he's not
mhm,
fighting Alex Pereira.
yeah.
And we've seen how tough Cleo Roundtree is, and also just how fucking vicious he is when he fights. So
Mhm. Well, except his last fight, the Jamal Hill wasn't particularly vicious. It was pretty slow.
yeah, he still got the knockout in the end though.
Yeah, yeah. Did he?
Yeah, didn't he? Didn't he get the TKO
Was it a
in like the third
knockout?
round?
It
I think
wasn't
so.
it wasn't a 5 round? I'm 90% sure it was a 5 round fight.
Oh, it was. No, he did.
Yeah.
It did go to a decision. God.
You goof. He got, I think, 2 or 3 knockdowns in the fight, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
no,
That's
he did
yeah.
not finish. No, because it was like regarded for being pretty slow paced and like methodical.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I'm gonna say Khalil Roundtree's gonna get more hurt than Yuri Prochazka, by which I mean visibly, like torn up, bleeding, lacerations, big old bruises, hematomas. But he might knock out Yuri Prochazka,
Ooh, okay.
which I know
Okay.
is an internal injury to the old brain, which is worse. But
But
if we're
visibly.
doing, yeah, like schoolyard rules, who looks more injured? I think Khalil's gonna walk away the loser there.
Okay.
And then a bantamweight fight. Merab Dvalishvili going for 3-0 this
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
fighting Corey Sandhagen. Of Merab's two other opponents this year, which is Sean O'Malley and Umar Nurmagomedov, where do you rank Corey Sandhagen's chances amongst those three? Is he number one for best chance of beating Merab? Is he
I think he's in between the two of them. I think
uh okay.
I don't he like so the Umar had the best shot in that he actually had like the wrestling chops to kind of go back and forth Marab and try to reverse things and try to pressure him that way.
Mhm.
And Corey Sandhagen and Sean O'Malley don't have that. What they do have
Mhm.
is advantages in the striking department, but for very different reasons. So Sean O'Malley is that, one punch sniping type of striking, which we saw Marab has been able to handle twice now, very handily. Corey Sandhagen, though, does more combination work, where he
Mhm.
has to kind of stand in the pocket and trade some shots, evade, slip, things like that. So but he has to get into a striking engagement, which I
Yeah.
don't think Marab will do. But can he use combination work, striking while moving backwards, in combination to kind of slow it down and maybe evade some of the initial takedowns so that he can force maybe some engagements? I think that is more likely than what Sean O'Malley would kind of sit back and try to throw one like lightning punch down the middle or strike. And all Marab had to do was evade that and go in for the takedown because he was overextended then.
Mhm.
So that's why I give Corey Sandhagen a little bit more of an edge, but I still think Marab's going to take this pretty easily.
That's very wrong. Corey Sandhagen uh, is going to beat Merab.
Oh my god, really?
I think so, and we'll get to it more when we talk about UFC 320.
Okay, well, no,
Uh,
give me a little preview. Give me a little.
Corey Sandhagen, I think Merab is really susceptible to getting hurt in the first round. I think Corey Sandhagen will hurt him, and I think Corey Sandhagen has the right idea with Merab, which is every position you're in, even if you're on your back, you have to be attacking. You have to be throwing up submissions. You can't be, ooh, I'll reverse or ooh, I'll kind of neutralize Merab because Merab just always will be outworking you. And so
Mhm,
all you can do is go every position I'm in, every second, I must be a buzzsaw. The second he touches me, it must hurt him, right? Like the second he takes me down, I have to be going for leg locks. I have to be throwing up submissions. I have to be throwing elbows from the bottom. When
mhm,
we're,
mhm.
scrambling, I have to be trying to strike, not just trying to like neutralize. And I think Corey Sandhagen knows this is his own, like, he's been denied title shots so often that this is his only title shot opportunity. So he's got to just kind of go for broke. And I think his height and his reach is gonna be something that Merab isn't used to, and then also like Corey Sandhagen attacks constantly off of his back when he's on the
Mhm.
ground, and I
Okay.
think that's the right way to do it, rather than Sean O'Malley, which is just hold on for dear life, or Umar, which was like try to reverse and get to a better position. I think Corey will go for it.
So you think Corey's ground back game is better than Marab's smothering top game?
No, but I think that Merab makes enough ludicrous decisions in a fight that Corey can catch him.
Okay, okay.
Right. Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think.
Alright. Okay, okay,
So we got
interesting.
two pay-per-view cards that are not bad, right? They look good-ish on
Yeah, yeah,
paper,
you know,
sorta.
2 months out, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they could totally fall apart. It could be
Yeah,
Yuri
oh, yeah.
Prochazka versus Carlos Olberg, which you know what, I still wouldn't mind, and then Marab versus I don't know, fucking who gives a shit. Um, that's the future of the UFC, but I also have two other points, Colin, that I want to talk about for the future of combat
Oh.
sports.
Oh, okay, okay, bring it.
Number one, there's been rumors that once the deal is signed with their next TV rights broadcaster, whether that's Netflix or a hybrid, which it sounds like it's more likely a hybrid of ESPN and Netflix and possibly Amazon Prime.
That option sounds fucking terrible. I fucking hate that.
Yeah, because I think it's supposed to be like ESPN. Netflix will get maybe one or two big events. Like if they get a Connor or a John Jones or an Ilyich Poirier or something, they'll broadcast those two, kind of like they did with Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, and then Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, right?
Mhm.
These two big events. And then pay per view and maybe fight nights will go on ESPN, and then maybe the Contender Series and UFC Apex will go to Amazon Prime or Disney Plus, whatever.
Mhm.
Some amalgamation of those two,
Yeah.
right? But once
Yeah.
that deal is inked, uh, TKO and is it WME is the controlling shareholder of the TKO group is looking to sell the UFC
Oh,
to Turki Al Sheikh in Saudi Arabia.
interesting.
So that means that the government of Saudi Arabia would own basically MMA as a sport at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so Colin, if that's the case, where do you think our fandom stands 3 years from now?
Oh, here's I don't know, like, I don't even know that would okay, does that mean, like, Dana White would be out? Like, he wouldn't do anything with the UFC now?
I think like it might be something where kind of like when they sold to Zuffa, they paid him a huge fee to keep him on, but
Mhm.
like decisions would be made based on Turkey Al Sheikh and Saudi Arabia being the ones who control the organization.
But I was gonna
They
say,
want to
like,
do with
even
it.
though they sold, Dana White still had a large say in a lot of the operations and what happened with the UFC, so
Well, apparently it was more like Hunter Campbell, and then the execs at WME, right? And like this push towards turning into UFC Apex slop and turning into just TV rights deals, regardless of quality content, is much more indicative of right once they sold
Mm.
because they gave their product so much more care so they could build it up so that they could sell it for $4 billion to WME. And then this, let's just get guaranteed revenue. Who cares whether people like it? Has been kind of the WME TKO
Mhm.
MO since then. I mean, Dana's involved, but half the time he doesn't even seem like he even watched the fights, you know? So,
But
but
back to your original question, what will this look
yeah,
like? Where will our fandom be? I don't know. Will it become more of an overseas thing? Will they just have the majority of their fights now in the Middle East or in Europe? Will they still come to host a lot of things in Las Vegas or New York or something like that? Uh, Turgal Sheik has hosted a lot of boxing events outside of the Middle East, but at the same time, it seems to be being reined in a little bit more. So,
wait, and a lot of them are still in the Middle East. Like all the big ones are definitely in the Middle East. He
mhm,
did that like Times Square one, which ended up being a dud. They've had a couple, but like the organic fandom from the UK and the United States has really gone away because there's no events in boxing there. All the
right.
big boxing events just take place in Saudi Arabia, where it doesn't seem like anyone gives a shit that the fights are there.
Mhm,
And it is also kind of weird to think like this sport, which definitely there's a monopoly on this sport, this one organization is just going to be owned by a country's government. Like that's weird,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, and not just any government, like a murdering tyrannical government. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, like, and then what do they do? Do they just like not sign? Yeah, I don't know, man. Uh, doesn't sound good. Doesn't
No.
sound good. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
it sounds bad. It sounds like it would be bad for the consumer. It'd be bad for the sport. Be bad for the fighters. Be bad for everyone, basically,
It does
except
seem
whoever
like,
bought it.
yeah, like someone will have, like another organization will have to like take the place, which it won't because, like you said, there's
It
a monopoly.
can't.
But
Yeah.
even then, like, yeah, I mean, when Saudi Arabia, I think it was Saudi Arabia, they made their own soccer league and they tried to pull a bunch of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
high profile. Like, I don't know anything about like what Ronaldo's doing anymore since he's not in like an actual competitive league anymore. Like I,
Well, yeah. I mean, Saudi Arabia does. They've got their own golf league to rival PGA. Like they basically own boxing at the moment. Like
yeah,
it's yeah. They don't seem to. They don't seem like good stewards of the sports.
right,
Like, right? Like they seem if you're using it as a cash grab, and which means you're just gonna bleed this thing and run it into the ground, and then kind of throw its carcass alongside the highway and be like, okay, done with that, moving on.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
legitimately, like what are you gonna do with this?
No, yeah,
Like it
you
requires
good
the
point.
UFC for such a long time had been stewards of the sport and really trying to make sure that like there was, fights were made that were important, that this is what people wanted. And like it does not seem like Saudi Arabia is interested in doing that.
Well, this maybe brings up a bigger meta question, then. Like, is this kind of what MMA was always doomed to become? Like, it was just a flash in the pan, or was it going to be like a longer lasting, significant sport and have more of a cultural impact? Like we talked about this a few episodes ago, of like,
Hmm.
you know, was this just a flash in the pan? Was this just something that was like, whatever, like it lasted for a little bit, but it was never gonna go beyond. It was what I think what you say, it was one of those fringe sports like X Games or whatever that would never
Hmm.
get mainstream popularity.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, uh, there's a question really to be had about like, did the way the UFC ran the organization, maybe there would have been a flash in the pan type instance where we had the Conor McGregor, we had the Ronda Rousey, and definitely the sort of the romanticism of MMA. I think has definitely left the culture.
Mhm.
Right, like, being an MMA fighter doesn't sound as cool anymore, or, like, you'd never hear fighters really talk about, like, "I do this for my legacy," much
Right.
anymore, right? Like, it's not like the GSP or the Anderson Silva, when Chael Sonnen and Randy Couture, where these guys were fighting for $500 a lot of the time. They were on, like, $2,000 contracts, but they
Right.
did it for, like, the love of the sport, and, like, that doesn't really exist anymore. A,
Right.
because of broader economic considerations, but I think also, like, the romanticism of MMA kind of has gone away, but there could have been a way in which the people who had the most power in this organization could have kept the pay scale up to snuff to where it felt like a good financial decision to go into fighting. Just the same way as like boxing. Boxing goes through ebbs and flows, but everyone knows you can make millions and millions of dollars being a prize fighter in boxing, and so that keeps it attractive. With MMA, it just feels like they've just been so neglectful in their duty to keep this sport as something that can be aspired to and
Mhm.
can be interesting and top of mind, right? Like that, even if it was, let's say it burned really hot and then it dimmed down and it never was going to reach the heights it had before, maybe like, I don't know, WWE when it was like Hulk Hogan, right? And then it popped back up with like The Rock and stuff, but like it's not, right? Like maybe, I don't know enough about WWE to say, but it does sound like they were like highs and lows, but like you
Right.
can always kind of keep it consistently healthy. But it seems like now that they're just trying to bleed this thing for all the money that it's worth and then just sell it off to Saudi Arabia, who's not going to keep it running and functional as an
Mhm.
international sport. Um, like it does seem like they purposely either sped up their decline or like fed the disease that's been killing MMA
Right. Mhm.
in the long term. Which also leads me to my next thing, which is so the UFC has been signing a bunch of these like Mikey Musumeci, like the one of the Rotolo brothers, signing all these submission grappler
Grapplers.
fighters, yeah,
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
They have also introduced, well, they didn't. Two senators have introduced into Congress the Muhammad Ali Boxing Rehabilitation Act or Revitalization Act. Have you looked into this at all, Colin?
No.
So, some of the things that are good about it. Boxing promoters must give, uh, or every state must give, and boxing promoters must give better health care to their fighters.
Okay. Okay.
They have to pay a minimum of $150 each round fought. Um, they have to make sure that there is more robust safety standards before a fight can be sanctioned.
Okay. Okay.
So all good, right? I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
most states already have the $150 minimum rule, but I think some states like Kentucky or Tennessee only have $100. So okay, you're getting $50 more around, whatever. You need to have two ambulances on site versus one. Okay, who's gonna argue about that? Whatever. But the biggest thing is that it says you don't have to participate in the sanctioning body system, like the WBO, IBF, WBA. You don't have to listen to the sanctioning bodies and the sanctioning body independent ranking system if you can count as a unified boxing organization or a UBO. If you are a UBO, you are exempt from the sanctioning bodies. You're exempt from the rankings being independent, and you're exempt from the belt being separate from your organization, and you're exempt from the promoter and I'm blanking now. You're not allowed to be a manager, promoter, and a belt giver, right? You're not allowed to be one of the sanctioning bodies and be the
Okay.
promoter, right? The WBO can't be a promoter, right? It has to be Eddie Hearn in conjunction with the WBO with one of his
Okay.
fighters, right?
Okay.
If you're a unified boxing organization. So, what does it take to be a unified boxing organization? You have to give $25,000 worth of medical insurance to
Okay.
every one of your fighters. You have to guarantee that you have a on-site training facility that your fighters can use for free. You have to have a certain amount of legal like coverage and parameters, like a legal team of a certain size. You
Okay.
have to make sure that there are a certain number of ambulances on site at all times. Basically, everything the UFC already does, including having an on-site training facility like the UFC Apex, the legal or size team that the UFC already has, down to the number of lawyers they have, the number of ambulances that they already have, you have to be able to do, and a certain amount of money you have to be able to put up for health insurance for each one of your fighters, depending on the
Mhm.
fights, which like no other promoter has that amount. They obviously have that amount with like Canelo fights, but if you're like a low level promoter promoting small level fights, there's no way you're going to be able to do this. So
Right. Okay.
basically, the UFC has created something that says,
Only us can host
yeah,
fights,
as
or
long
yeah.
as you have the exact infrastructure the UFC has, you can a unified boxing organization, which allows us to create our own belts, have our own rankings, set our own contracts, be a promoter and a manager and a belt sanctioner at the same time. And we don't need to adhere to any of the rules that the previous Ali Act set up.
Yeah.
So, a really cool legislation that just happened to fall into their lap. I'm sure they had no part in writing any of that.
Of course.
But B, if this gets passed, that means the UFC will basically be able to import their monopolistic business model into boxing
Mhm.
in the United States.
Yeah.
If we know the UFC is planning on being sold to Saudi Arabia, and then they set up this infrastructure as well in boxing, that means Saudi Arabia could legally buy a monopolized organization that owns MMA, boxing, or at least the starting to own of boxing, and submission grappling all in one fell swoop, which
Mhm.
means almost all combat sports would be consolidated into a single business transaction and be owned by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. What do you think about that, Colin?
Yeah, I think that's a little that yes, there would be a lot of that bleeding that direction, but I think it would just kind of like what is happening now with everything. It's just like maybe this would incentivize like, okay, the WBO, WBA, all of them will take and just like basically, okay, we've relied so much on the US to be the home of boxing and combat sports. Now they're gonna like look elsewhere. Where will they go? Russia, Europe, uh, maybe parts of Asia. I don't know. It may just accelerate the death of some of these sports, where or like have them fall to a low point that we haven't seen or ever will see, and maybe they won't come back. I don't know. Like, I feel like boxing could potentially survive elsewhere, and maybe down the line it'll come back up. Like if these acts are repealed and that more of these things can be done with more oversight or freedom in the United States. But if it does pass, then like I feel like a lot of these organizations will just take their ball and go elsewhere. You know?
Well, I mean, the thing is the WBA, WBO, IBF, these are all, I mean, this is based on the Ali Act of the United States. The only reason that they confer a lot of power is A, the US for the longest time has been the biggest market for prize fighting and boxing
Right.
of any
Right.
other country. And
That's what I
B,
mean. The market will change then.
yeah, and B, it's not really the WBA or the IBF, right? Like when Daniel Dubois lost to Usyk and lost his IBF belt, we all weren't like, "Holy shit, thank God Usyk got his IBF belt back," because
Right.
we really were having doubts. It was something where the fighter themselves confer status upon the belt, right? And
Mhm.
so even if they don't like, right, if somebody, let's say Jelton Almeida left the UFC and went and fought Francis Ngannou and beat him, we would then go, well, fuck, I want to see Jelton Almeida versus Tom Aspinall,
Mhm.
right? Because like it's the impressiveness of Francis Ngannou that confers that onto Jelton Almeida, not that he has the PFL belt, right?
Right. Mhm.
Um, so and that's the insidious thing is like, because okay, you start your Zuffa boxing league. All you got to do is say, "Hey, let's get Canelo over here, or let's get Terrence Crawford over here, or let's just pick who's somebody who's got. Let's get Bivol over here. Let's pay them stupid amounts of money to get them over here." And under this revitalized Muhammad Ali Act, if you have a UBO, if you're a UBO, rather than having a 2-year clause to any contract between a promoter and their fighter, they can have unlimited years, just like the UFC.
Mhm.
You can just lock someone in and say, "Here you go," right? And then
Yeah.
over time, people will go, "Well, I want to sign with them because if I beat Bivol, if I beat Canelo, if I beat Crawford, if I beat if I beat Shakur Stevenson, if I beat Tank Davis, it will confer upon me, even though he's got this kind of phony made up Zuffa boxing belt.
Mhm.
People will begin to treat it as the legitimate belt. And so people will go, well, I want to be in the organization where I get the chance if I go up through the ranks to fight the guy that. And so you just
Mhm.
do that slowly over time, and eventually you just keep poaching. You don't even need to poach every single one of the top talents, but if you can drain certain key divisions, then suddenly everyone just moves over there. And because
Yeah.
it's Saudi Arabia money and the infrastructure and now legal backing and security of the UFC, then we're watching Apex slot boxing cards, man.
Yeah. I mean, this also under the premise that it lasts that long, it gets to that point, which we also said that, like, hey, it may not last this long. We may not even get to this point. Like, boxing may just die, or MMA may just die right even before it gets to that point where they can consolidate in that manner.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think that boxing would die though, because like, I don't know, like, right? The Top Rank just lost their deal with who did they lose their deal with? Is it CBS, ESPN?
ESPN, maybe? Yeah.
I think so. Right, like it's the first time in is it what 80 years since American boxing wasn't on a network television,
Hmm.
right? Like boxing boxing's been pretty resilient across all these years and all these, like it's been a part of the public consciousness since like the fucking 20s, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even before then, like it's MMA is this like rather new, strange thing, but
Right.
boxing has been around for a long time, and like this could really, I mean, just nuke it
Yeah.
entirely.
Yeah.
And MMA, right? Because if MMA is basically speed running the trajectory boxing is going to go on, it's like,
Yeah.
well, it's like they've just speed run it directly into the ground, where we're talking about what a fucking Anthony Hernandez and Roma Dolidze main event at an Apex
Yeah.
card, like
Yeah.
what the fuck? Who cares? Um, yeah. So that's the future. Um, we have bespoke, probably written by the UFC or Zuffa or TKO legislation being put into Congress, and rumors that sounds like the UFC is actually all of this apex slop and all of this maximizing of profit over the product's integrity has been entirely a strategy so that they can sell quickly.
Mhm.
Because it sounds like they have buyers in Saudi Arabia, which again is just a weird. It's just a weird. Like I know Trump is big into buying Greenland and shit, but dude, just like imagine if like Trump bought cricket. He was just like, I just want to buy cricket. I'm gonna buy right. You're like that. It doesn't make any sense. Like if the U.S. government was like, we're actually buying the NHL. Like you're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Why is that a line item in your government's budget?
Yeah.
But that kind of sounds like what Saudi Arabia is angling for.
They've done it to various success. And I think it's just been like they've just had an opportunity where not only have they been able to do that with some electrifying fighters that are like really started to level up the sport, but in a way that has, on the one hand, really elevated the sport, but also made us realize, like, like if they're the only game in town, what happens when like, but where do we go from here? Like, what is boxing gonna look like?
Yeah, and I definitely don't know. I mean, like, I always feel like there'll probably be interest in boxing, maybe because it's been so persistent.
Yeah, yeah,
But it is this one thing where you kind of go like, if the UFC is the only game in town for MMA, and the UFC goes away, is there enough interest in the game itself to keep it going? Because that's something where I'm like, I don't know if that's the case. You
yeah.
know, it'd be like if roller derby got really popular. It's like
Right.
if the roller derby league goes away, is there enough people to keep that going? What's going on there? I hear screaming
Oh,
Mimis in the background.
the dogs are just having their own MMA fight.
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
No, but I mean, like MMA has existed in some form in different parts of the world. Like, I mean, it was in Japan for a while, it was in Brazil, and there have been different offshoots of it. Like, I mean, kickboxing was really big in the 80s and 90s, and it's faded out now. And
But not in
maybe,
America. It never really was that big in America.
yeah, not huge, but K1 did come over a few times. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, relatively speaking, MMA has only been like super popular for what, 20 years now?
I mean, not even 20. Like, it really hit its peak, I think.
Well, like early
Kind of.
mid 2000s, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I guess yeah, maybe 20 years at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's yeah. I just, oof, I wonder, man. I wonder if it's gonna. Because also, like, if we look back and we're like, wow, the fighters of like Khabib, there hasn't been a fighter as good as Khabib in 10 years. Be like, well, then why? What are we watching for?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
Um, what was that fucking sport that they tried to make really popular in Miami in like the fucking like 50s? The one where you throw the ball with the like curved hook hand thing.
oh, highlight.
Highlight. Yeah, like is MMA gonna go the highlight way?
I
You
mean,
know?
kind of. Like, I mean, it's always been a fringe sport, and people have been wanting to get rid of it for years. So,
Yeah,
like,
but it was on ESPN and like I don't know. I have a bad feeling about dude, if it gets sold to Saudi Arabia, well, and is on it wouldn't here's the craziest thing. Let's say they sell it to Saudi Arabia before they do it on the White House lawn. That's wild, right? Because then the US government will be paying Saudi Arabia to host fights on the lawn.
yeah, nah, like that. There's no way that any sport,
Oh,
let
come now.
alone MMA, will happen on the White House. No, there's no fucking way.
It sounds like it's a pretty like it's a done deal.
Yeah, Trump also said he was going to have Mexico pay for his fucking wall. So like he just says whatever the fuck he wants to. So like
That's
whatever, shut
true.
the fuck up. Like
Yeah. We'll see come this time next year if we're like, holy shit.
dude, just think about the security issues with that. Like there's
Do you
no
think
way.
Trump gives a shit about the security issues?
No, but at the same time, like it's not going to happen. It can't happen.
I I I think you'd be surprised. In the immortal words of John Jones or Brendan Schaub, I think you'd be surprised.
Fuck those
Yeah.
guys too. Like whatever.
So I don't know. That was the past of MMA with Robert Whitaker. Love you, Bobby Knuckles, but I think it's time to hang it up. The present with Tatsuro Taira winning a fight,
Yeah,
and the future in which maybe a year from now, Saudi Arabia will own the three largest combat sports in the world, except for
yeah.
sumo. Maybe we'll just become a sumo podcast. Maybe that'll be our
Ooh,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
The last untouched um, combat sport.
We could watch sumo and Muay Thai.
And Muay Thai. Yeah, it's hard to get a stream of Muay Thai. It feels like real authentic Muay Thai.
Yeah,
Are there
there
any
was
other
another.
combats?
There was a one championship card this past weekend too. Apparently, like
Yeah, no, dude, they're gone. Did you see that they've burned through $900 million of investor money in the past like 10 years?
I didn't realize it was that much. I know you've brought it up before that they just keep burning through
Yeah,
money.
they're
So
down to their last 20 million in their war
Jesus,
chest. Like they're done skis.
yeah,
Um, Same thing with PFL. They're done. Like it's yeah. Well, yeah. It's ever since is it 2018? There's been a steady decline in overall MMA fights that have happened every year.
Mhm.
And it didn't recover after like the post COVID. It just
Yeah,
keeps going down.
I believe
Just
that.
it's just getting less and less popular. So we're gonna have to get into sumo. We're gonna have to get into Muay Thai. Is there any other combat sport that's worthwhile watching? I'm not watching American wrestling. It's I can't you can't make me.
What about like submission grappling? Yeah, like the
Yeah. Well,
the
but
the
that's gonna get
CJ
bought.
whatever.
Yeah, the CJI too sounds cool, but that's gonna
Yeah.
get bought by the UFC eventually. So like, how can we get out from Zuffa UFC Saudi Arabia influence is what I'm trying to understand.
Oh,
It's like sumo. That's it.
Thai Muay Thai.
Yeah, Thai Muay Thai.
Um,
And that's it, I think.
That's yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get
Maybe
really
maybe Pancrase will come back or something. Like just
nah, fam. Nah. Nah. Shit's wild. Anyway. All right. Anything else, Colin?
no, that is super bleak, man. This is our first episode in like 2 weeks, and it's just depressing as all hell.
Dude,
Like,
I saw these reports and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I guess this is what it is. It is bleak, man. It is bleak
doom
out
and
there.
fucking gloom, man. Rough.
That's the world we live in nowadays, man.
Yeah. I can't fault you there.
We're just gonna be watching AI produce slop, Apex slop. It's just all slop. Just yeah. You don't even need teeth anymore. Just gum your way through life.
Gross.
Anyway, yeah. This has been Two Fight Fans podcast. I'm one Fight Fan Stuart.
I guess I'm the other Colin.
Yeah. We'll talk about more shit later. I don't know. That's it. All right, everyone. Bye.
Bye.